Good morning, children. So, today we'll start the next chapter of our textbook, that is Glimpse of India. It is on page number 85. Take a pencil with you so that you can note down the meanings of difficult words, underline the words, and write down their meanings on book only. So, it is chapter number 7, Glimpse of India. Glimpse means a very quick or a short view of somebody or something. Glimpse of India means in this chapter we'll come to know about three different places of India. So it is divided into three short chapters. The first is A Baker from Goa by Lucio Rodriguez. And he was born in 1916 and he died in 1973, and he was Konkani essayist. So the first part is, it's about Goa, A Baker from Goa. And so before this, let's read before you read. Discuss in class. What images of people and of places come to your mind when you think of our country? Have you ever thought about your country? So if you have not, try now. And when you think of your country, which type of people or which images of places come to your mind? What parts of India have you lived in or visited? Can you name some popular tourist destinations? Then is, you may know that apart from the British, the Dutch and the French, the Portuguese have also played a part in the history of our country. Can you say which parts of India show French and Portuguese influences? Can you say which parts of India grow tea or coffee? So we will get the answers of all these questions from these chapters, these three parts. The first is A Baker from Goa. This is a pen portrait of a traditional Goan village baker who still has an important place in his society. I hope you all know what is a baker. Baker is a person who is involved in the business of bread making. Bread and buns and all these things. That is known as baker. And this chapter is about a traditional Goan village, Goa ka gaon, or Goan gaon ka ek baker. Means how the bakers work, what types of clothes they used to wear. This is all about a Goan village baker. So let's read it out and find out. Our elders are often heard reminiscing nostalgically about those good old Portuguese days, the Portuguese about their famous loaves of bread. So first of all, write down the meaning. Reminiscing nostalgically. It means thinking fondly of the past. When you think something about the past and when very good old memories come to your mind. It means this. So, what the author is saying, that whenever our elders means our grown-ups, our fathers, our forefathers, when they often think about their past, they always think about those good old Portuguese days. Portuguese days means when India was under the control of the Portuguese, when the Portuguese have come in India. So the author is talking about those good days when actually author was not there at that time, so he is telling us about when the author's ancestors, when the author's father and great grandfathers, when they thought about those old good days, when India was under the control of Portuguese, the Portuguese and their famous laws of bread. So whenever they think about those days, they always think about the famous loaves of bread. And children, if you don't know, I'll tell you that bread has come to India from Portuguese only. It was their culture, it was their in their food habits, and when they came to India, they bring their culture of eating bread, making bread, and from then only we have breads in our diet. So whenever the ancestors thought about that, they always think about the bread and different types of dishes that are made of bread at that time. Those eaters of loaves might have vanished, but the makers are still there. Vanished means they have now disappeared. They have died. So those eaters of loaves means the person, those who eat bread at that time. So of course those who were present at that time, they are not present now, they must have died now. So those people, those who eat bread at that time, they might have died, they have disappeared now, they have vanished, but the makers are still there. But the person, those who are involved in the business of making bread, they are still there, they still exist. We still have amongst us the mixers, the molders, and those who bake the loaves. Now, these are the different processes of making bread. So, what the author is saying, that although the people, those who love to eat bread at that time, they have died, they have vanished, but the person who make bread, they, or we can say the person who, those who are involved in the business of making bread, they still are there. So we have with us the mixers. Mixers are the person who need the flour for making bread. The molders are the person who gives shapes to bread. And the mixers, molders, and those who bake the bread. And finally, after, first of all, the flour is needed for making bread, then it is given a particular shape, the shape of the bread, and finally it is baked. So the persons, here what he wants to say, that still the business of making bread is flourishing, it is still going on. Those age-old, time-tested furnaces still exist. Time-tested means those which are used for a long time. So earlier the bread, they were made in furnaces. Furnaces are, you can say, a hearth, अंगीठी, जो भट्टी अंगीठी होती थी. At that time, bread was baked in that. That still exists, and the fire in the furnaces has yet not been extinguished. Means हालांकि वो बेकर्स, वो मोल्डर्स, वो पहले वाले लोग नहीं रहे, बट द बिजनेस इज स्टिल फ्लरिशिंग. Other persons have involved in that, and the fire in the furnaces has yet not been extinguished, means the business is still flourishing. The business is going on. The thud and jingle of, next page children, the traditional baker's bamboo, heralding his arrival in the morning, can still be heard in some places. Maybe the father is not alive, but the son still carries on the family profession. These bakers are even today known as padder in Goa. So what the author is saying now, that the thud and jingle. Thud means a dull and heavy sound, and jingle is a light ringing sound. So whenever the baker, he used to come with his traditional baker's bamboo, he used to carry a bamboo stick with him, and that always made a heavy and a light ringing sound. Heralding means announcing. So whenever a baker comes, he always carries a bamboo stick with him, and whenever he moves, he just carry that bamboo stick also with him, and that makes a sound, and this announces his arrival in the morning. That was a sign of his coming. That shows that the baker has come carrying his bread to deliver. One can still be heard in some places. So there are certain places still in the morning the baker always comes. They are in a routine. They always come. They carry the breads with them and they deliver to the people living there. And maybe the father is not alive, but the son still carries on the family profession. Means the forefathers, they have passed away. The father has passed away, but that profession is now carried on. It is now transferred to the son. The son has started that business now, that business of making bread. And these bakers, they are even today known as padder in Goa. And in Goa, these professional bakers, those who are carrying this profession from their forefathers to fathers and now the son, they are known as padders in Goa. The traditional name is padders. So, during our childhood in Goa, the baker used to be our friend, companion, and guide. He used to come at least twice a day. So now the author is remembering about his own childhood days when he was a child and he lived in Goa. At that time, the baker, he was his friend. He acted as their companion and their guide for all the children. And he come to their house 2 times a day. And when it was? Once when he set out in the morning on his sailing round, and then again when he returned after emptying his huge bucket. So for 2 times the padder used to visit the author's house, and once when in the morning when just start his journey for selling the breads, and secondly when after finishing his job, when he has sold all his breads, then and when his huge basket which he used to carry, which was full with the loaves of bread, when he had all sold, then he at that time then again he visit the narrator's house. The jingling thud of his bamboo woke us up from the sleep, and we ran to meet and greet him. Why was it so? So in the morning, when he used to come at that time, the author was sleeping generally, and when he heard the sound of the thud of his bamboo and the jingling sound, the sweet, soft musical sound, that made him get up. He got up by listening to that music, and he ran there to welcome him. And why it was so? Now he's asking why it was so. Was it for the love of the loaf? Not at all. Was it uh, because the author loved bread very much? It was because of that he got up and he ran to welcome the padder. No, no, it was not. The loaves were bought by some Paskin or Baskin. Paskin or Baskin, these are the terms which are used for the servants, those who worked at the author's house. So he said, no, it was not for the bread that he was so fond of bread that he loved to take those pieces of bread. No, rather the bread was taken by some servant, the maid servant of the house. What we longed for were those bread bangles, which we chose carefully. Sometimes it was sweet bread of special make. Rather, it was for the special bread bangles, which the author bring for the children. And in order to select their best breads, the bread bangles, which were sometimes sweet bread of a different type, to collect those breads, the author waited for him, and when he came, he ran to welcome him. The baker made his musical entry on the scene with the jang jang sound of his specially made bamboo staff. One hand supported the basket on his head, and the other banged the bamboo on the ground. So when the baker came by making his musical sound, on one hand he was carrying his bamboo stick, with that he used to make that sound, and that was made by the bamboo stick which he used to carry with him in his one hand, and the other hand he supported the basket that he used to carry on his head, and which was full of bread. And the hand in which he used to carry his bamboo stick, that stick, when he moved, that stick made the jang jang sound, and that was a sign of his coming also. He would greet the lady of the house with good morning, and then place his basket on the vertical bamboo. So when he reached the house, he welcomed the landlady, he welcomed the owner of the house, the lady, by wishing her good morning, and then he put his basket on the bamboo. We kids would be pushed aside with a mild rebuke, and the loaves would be delivered to the servant. So all the children, they used to gather around him, and then he used to just rebuke is, it's an expression of disapproval, a scolding. बड़े प्यार से झिड़की लगाना ना. So he just rebuked the children. He asked them to get aside so that he can deliver the bread to the servant, and the breads were delivered to the servant after that. But we would not give up. We would climb a bench or the parapet and peep into the basket somehow. Parapet is actually, it's the boundary wall, a small boundary wall. You can say a lower wall along the edge of the roof. So the children were so eager to peep into the basket that was having breads, that they just, when the padder he scolded them, they didn't give up. They climb up on a bench or the small wall that is near the edge of the along the edge of the roof. They just peep from there into the basket. I can still recall the typical fragrance of those loaves, and since the bread they were all fresh, so very sweet fragrance was coming from them. When the author was writing all this, even at that time he still remembered the fragrance that used to come from that basket. Loaves for the elders and the bangle for the children. And the padder, he used to carry loaves of bread for the elder people of the house, and the bread bangles which are specially made for the children. Then we did not even care to brush our teeth or wash our mouths properly. And when the children get those bread bangles, they even didn't brush their teeth, they didn't even wash their mouths, and they just rush to take those bread bangles. And why should we? Who would take the trouble of plucking the mango leaf for the toothbrush? And why was it necessary at all? The tiger never brushed his teeth. Hot tea could wash and clean up everything so nicely at all. Now the narrator is saying that at that time they were so eager to eat those bread that they even didn't wash their mouths or didn't brush their teeth. And why should they do that? Because for that they have to do a lot of efforts. At that time there were not the pastes and brushes were there. They simply have to pluck a mango leaf or a neem leaf, and then they have to brush their teeth with those mango leaves. So they didn't take the trouble of uh, brushing their teeth with those mango leaves. And then he's saying, no, it was not necessary at all. A, a tiger never brushes. शेरों के मुंह किसने धोए हैं? So it was like that कि who bother to brush the teeth and face the mouth. So, and when they will drink the hot tea, it will take away all the dirt inside the stomach, and hot tea, it will wash everything and clean up everything very clearly. So there is no need of brushing the teeth. That's all. Marriage gifts are meaningless without the sweet bread known as the bowl, just as a party or a feast loses its charm without bread. Now, children, in this paragraph, the author is telling us the importance of bread, how bread was important in every household function, in every function. There are certain dishes which are specially made from the bread. So bread was a very important part of their life. So he's saying that marriage gifts are meaningless without the sweet bread known as the bowl. So whenever there is any marriage function or whenever the marriage gifts are given, they are incomplete without the sweet bread which is known as ball. Or if there is any party or any function, if there is no any dish made of bread, then the party has no charm. There is no grace in the party without the dishes made of bread. Not enough can be said to show how important a baker can be for a village. So this shows that the bakers along with the breads, because without the padders or the bakers, no one can make the bread. So the baker is a very important part of their society, of their village. The lady of the house must prepare sandwiches on the occasion of a daughter's engagement. So whenever there is a function of a daughter's engagement, then the mother, she is supposed to prepare sandwiches which are made of bread, and cakes and balinhas are a must for Christmas as well as other festivals. And when there are special occasions like festivals, whenever there is Christmas or some important festival, then their sweet cakes and bolinhas, it's again a dish made of bread. So cakes and bolinhas, they are a must on festivals. Thus, the presence of the baker's furnace in the village is absolutely essential. So, all this shows that the baker is a very important part of the society, and a village is incomplete without the presence of a baker. The baker or bread seller of those days had a peculiar dress known as the kabai. So now the dress which the bakers used to wear During those days, that is known as kabai. It was a special dress which they used to wear, and it is known as kabai. It was a single piece long frock reaching down to the knees. So what it was? It was a single piece long frock that comes from the waist to the knee. And in our childhood, we saw bakers wearing a shirt and trousers which were shorter than full length ones and longer than half pants. Now, during the author's grandparents' time, the bakers, they used to wear the dress which reached to the knees, that is known as kabai. And during the author's time, when they were young, when they were in their childhood days, the bakers, they have shifted now their dress from kabai to wearing a shirt and a trouser which was 3/4 in the size. You can say it was like a capri which was shorter than full length and it was longer than the half pant. So it was 3/4 in size, and it was like capri which you people used to wear these days. Even today, anyone who wears a half pant which reaches just below the knees invites the comment that he is dressed like a pedder. And even during these days, when anyone saw a person wearing a pant which reaches just below the knees, he gets a comment that he's dressed up like a padder. So it was a, you can say it was a trademark of the padders, wearing a pant which reaches just below the knees. The baker usually collected his bills at the end of the month. Monthly accounts used to be recorded on some wall in pencil. So the baker, he daily come to give to deliver bread, and the bill he used to collect at the end of the month, as we people do for paying the bills of the newspapers or for the milk bills. So in the same way, at that time, the bills were collected at the end of the month, and the account was written on some wall of the house with a pencil, because at that time there were not calendars and all. So it was just the walls, they were all made of clay. कच्चे घर होते थे और कच्चे घरों के दीवारों पर it was written with a pencil on some wall of the house. Baking was indeed a profitable profession in the old days. The baker and his family never starved. Now he is saying that the people who were involved in the business of bread making, that was a very good profession. It was a very profitable profession, and economically they were very well off. They never starved. He, his family, and his servants always looked happy and prosperous. So the people who were involved in that business, they were all very happy because they were well to do. They had enough money, and prosperous itself means economically well-being, well off. So they were all very rich and they always looked very happy. Their plump physique was an open testimony to this. Plump physique means pleasantly fat body. Since they were all economically well off, so they had a little tummy also. They had a plump physique. मतलब देखने में गोल मटोल होते थे, मोटे ताजे होते थे, and that was a symbol of their prosperity, of their economically well off. एक सर्टिफिकेट होता था वो उनकी जो प्लम फिजिक थी कि हाँ वो अच्छे से रह रहे हैं, उनके पास पैसे की कमी नहीं है. That was a certificate of their prosperity. Even today, any person with a jackfruit-like physical appearance is easily compared to a baker. और आज के समय में भी, if we see a person like a jackfruit, कटहल, जैकफ्रूट के जैसे कोई गोल मटोल आदमी अगर हम आज भी देखते हैं, तो we just simply say, and we simply from his appearance we compare him with a baker, because bakers, they always had a plump physique and they always looked very happy and prosperous. So these are the characteristics of a baker. I hope it is clear to you, children. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. And these oral comprehension check, all these questions you will try yourself. You simply just try to answer these. You need not to write these in your notebooks. Textual part I will send you.